I mean, how dare he?
They'll say they sent some troops to Afghanistan or this or that. And they did. They stayed a little off the front lines.
How dare he say this? How dare he? A man who dodged the draft, a man who wouldn't go to war when his country asked him to, says this about our servicemen and women who died. How dare he, is how I feel. And I would like to hear Keir Starmer say something. I doubt he'll say that. It probably wouldn't be wise for him to speak in that way. But I'd like to hear something passionate from him about our armed forces, because it's not difficult, is it, to be passionate about people who've gone to war for your country and lost their lives, or been severely injured for the rest of their lives by it, or grief-stricken, or lost their father and mother. You know, the loss and the difficulties are immense. We actually don't talk about it enough. Ben was the most severely wounded British veteran to survive the Afghanistan conflict. Diane, thank you so much for joining me today. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
How did it make you feel to hear the President say this?
The gut reaction is worse every time you hear it. Everything about his statements, the words he uses, the tone of voice that he uses, the utter dismissal of everything that our troops went through and sacrificed in Afghanistan, an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
And for people who might not be familiar with just the depths of injury and hell and difficulty that Ben, and therefore all of you as his family, went through and continues in different ways to go through, just describe what happened to him, if you're happy to.
Yeah, Ben was in Musakala in Afghanistan, and his vehicle went over a 30-year-old Russian anti-tank mine. Ben had 37 separate injuries, the worst being traumatic brain injury, the loss of both his legs, severe damage to his spine. But we are the lucky ones. There are 400 and odd families who would dearly love to be in the position that we are. And our job for the last 19 and a half years has been fighting for Ben because of the sacrifice that he made and so many others like him in Afghanistan.
I've been seeing some footage of Ben today on the television news of him being honoured and meeting the Queen, the late Queen, meeting the now King when he was Prince Charles. But you still have to fight even today, don't you, for some of his care needs?
Yeah, as are most veterans. It doesn't stop with what happened in Afghanistan. Ben, we're determined, it's our job to make sure that Ben has the best life possible. And there are so many veterans fighting the same fight that we are. And then to have that sacrifice and that pain, utterly denigrated and dismissed by this man, just because he's been criticised on another front. So his attitude is attack. But in this instance, he's attacking people that he has neither the right nor the reason to attack. And it's not what we should be expecting from, hopefully, one of our partners across the Atlantic.
James O'Brien was saying on his programme he was struggling to find the right word for what it was that the President had done. It's clearly bigger than an insult. We can all cope with an insult.
Yes.
It's deeper than that. You've used the word denigration. Does it feel like a denigration of your son?
Of course it does. It's a dismissal. Listen to his tone of voice. It's as if it's not even worth discussing because you just weren't there. It's rewriting history. It's wrong. It's wrong on so many fronts.
And when you yourself have not, him, myself included, but certainly the President, have not gone to war, have not put your life on the line, to dismiss those that have, I think is a really, I'd go so far as to say it's a sin. You know?
It is, and it was so unexpected. If there was one thing that you thought that no one could ever take issue with, it's how our armed forces have always stood up and done what's required of them. Whether you agree with the reasons, whether the reasons that we went into Iraq in particular, or Afghanistan, whether they're right or wrong, you can't argue with our forces and the way that they behaved and the way that they carried out their duty.
And at a very specific sort of state level, you know, our own now king's son fought in Afghanistan, ferrying injured soldiers like Ben to safety when that was required. And Prince Harry, I know, has gone on the record saying that sharing the journey, actually, it was when he had to come back, but sharing the journey home with very severely injured soldiers, it changed him forever, and also fermented in his mind the idea of the Invictus Games. So that's the difference, isn't it? Somebody who is changed by the suffering of people like Ben and goes on to do something about it, and somebody who just denigrates the suffering of people like Ben.
Absolutely. But Ben's travelled quite extensively in America, and this does not represent what the people on the street feel. They are incredibly respectful of their own armed forces and our armed forces. Ben's like a hero when he's over there. This is about this man and his reaction to criticism and basically not getting his own way.
Is Ben treated like a hero here?
Yes, absolutely. Locally, he's treated like everybody's son. In Doncaster, Ben is everybody's family. And that's how it should be for all of them.
Yeah, well, he's one of the soldiers I could still name 19 years on. Do you know what I mean? And that's because he became for awful reasons that you would rather he had been spared. But we all remember his name, definitely. How is he doing generally in life now?
Big operation in December. He spent most of December in hospital in Salisbury, a wonderful NHS team. Recovering now, and now back on a quest to get fit again for an active summer. More raising awareness, more pushing himself and encouraging others to do the same.
So embracing the life that he has, no matter the difficulties.
Absolutely. No one's going to take that away from him.
Something tells me his mum and dad might have had something to do with that as well. I mentioned that Keir Starmer's spokesman had said it was wrong. Do you need more from Keir Starmer than that?
Keir Starmer should stand up and state to Donald Trump that he is wrong. He has no right to make the statements that he's made. We're not talking about apology. We're talking about our Prime Minister standing up for his armed forces. His party sent them to war. Stand up for your armed forces and state that this is wrong and should be retracted.
And to Donald Trump, if you had a minute in his company, what would you say?
I don't think anything, because this had nothing to do with armed forces. This was him not getting his own way, going on the attack. This does not represent what the American people feel.
So you wouldn't bother to say anything to him?
No, I wouldn't bother.
Not worth your breath?
No, that's what I'd expect my Prime Minister to do.